Is Infokemp pro-war, or is he anti-war? That's the question. Well, this is perhaps the biggest question of our times. Not that I'm anti-war or pro-war, but that perhaps we should have had a better debate about Iraq before we went in. Then, if we had had that, would we have gone in at all? These are some questions that I think we need to answer today. Why was I against the war? And then I was for the war. I've sort of flipped back and forth on this. Well, I was pro-war because I was trying to get into the army and I really wanted to go out there, to be honest. And then I decided that wasn't the right path for me, and so I really started to look at the Iraq War, and I think it's become a major tactical mistake for the West, if it was for the reasons it was said it was. There's clearly a lot of lying on both sides of the argument, the pro-war people and the anti-war people. A big lie from the pro-war people was that there was weapons of mass destruction. Well, there was weapons of mass destruction before the UN inspectors came in and destroyed them all. The other big lie from the anti-war side is that Saddam never sponsored acts of terrorism. Well, what was the Iranian embassy siege then? Those people were completely backed by Saddam. Was there a link between Al Qaeda? Well, Christopher Hitchens says there was, but I don't care what Christopher Hitchens says. I'm not completely sure, because at times it's been reported that Osama bin Laden wanted to take Saddam out. But enemies can coalesce to form an alliance against a common enemy, and that common enemy would be secular Western democracies. Why is it being pushed by the big money interests like the Saudis and the Israeli lobby in America? Well, clearly there's a big coalition in America between Christian Zionist end-timers and Jewish Zionist end-timers. Also, people like clever politicians, a very smart guy called Netanyahu, who's Prime Minister of Israel now, who are secular Zionists, but they are extreme militarists. It's kind of like the Bismarckian version of politics in Israel. This concept of the steel wall. Why do the Saudis and Al Qaeda want the war in Iraq? Because Al Qaeda wants to take over another Middle Eastern country or Central Asian country, and if America goes in and destabilises Iraq and then goes into Iran, they'll get both the things they want. Why do the Saudis, who hate Al Qaeda, actually, because there's a big war going on between the Bin Ladens, although they are part of the royal family, and the royal family of Saudi Arabia, because the Saudis are Wahhabist Sunnis. Now, the Sunnis in Iraq were secular Sunnis, but now they've looked for another paymaster since Saddam's gone, and the Saudis have moved in to fill the role. So just as the Shia have since Saddam's gone stopped being secular Shia and have come under the influence of Iran, the Sunnis have come under the influence of the Saudis. Now, all these aims are about oil, basically. They're about oil and they're about religious fundamentalism. The Israelis want to expand their settlements in Palestine. The Iranians are supporting the Palestinians. Saddam supported the Palestinians. In fact, he gave $5,000 to the family of suicide bombers in Palestine. So the Israelis were not happy about their citizens being blown up by suicide bombers. Now the anti-war people will say, well, you know, Israel is a cruel power. Yes, it is. It is a cruel power. But it is a cruel power that's also under a lot of pressure from its neighbours. It's had its nose bloodied by Hezbollah. But this video is not about the interests of Israel. This video is about the interests of England, and even less, and also the United States and of Europe. What is the West's interest in this? Well, the West soon won't have an interest in oil at all, and what will that do to the Israeli and Saudi hegemony over the western part of the Middle East? Sorry. And what will it do with our relationship with Iran? Well, if Europe goes ahead and develops fusion power, and develops wind power, and develops solar power, and also there's a desertification of some of the southern regions of Europe due to climate change, then there's going to be a lot more desert areas that are going to need to be used, and those might be filled by solar power. There's even a different kind of solar power now, which takes the CO2 out of the air and combines it with water and some other chemicals and produces diesel and petrol. You could have fields and fields of these. Now this completely undercuts the power of Israel, Iran, Saudi Arabia. They will be left with nothing. And so therefore in the long run we could have saved ourselves a lot of money and troops, and troops are not just objects, they are people with families. We've lost thousands of them. But now that we're in it, my view is that we have to do some kind of Marshall Plan in the Middle East and the Central Asia, and the powers that be know that will be the case. That people like me, even though inherently we've got a gut instinct against going to war, will, once troops are committed, support the troops, because that's it also in our gut instinct, and then we'll have to just develop a plan. Our civilization, on the other hand, has to expand, but it shouldn't be expanding for the whims of people who live in the Middle East. We are not a Middle Eastern country, we're a Western country, and we should be doing things for our national interest, alright, and in cooperation with our allies. If you want to leave some comments, please go ahead and start a discussion up. Thanks. This is what I'm making these videos for. Thank you.